Going Down River Road, 1976. By Meja Mwangi, one of Kenya's most acclaimed post-independence writers, is a powerful realist novel that captures the struggles of the urban poor in Nairobi. Set in the years following Kenya's independence in 1963, the novel focuses on the grim lives of construction workers, casual laborers, and jobless youth, exposing the economic disparities, disillusionment, and human degradation experienced by the working class in a post-colonial African city. Rather than offering nationalist optimism, Mwangi presents a gritty, unsentimental portrait of urban decay and existential despair. Through the lens of Ben, a former soldier and current construction worker, Mwangi critiques failed promises of independence, urban poverty, and the dehumanizing nature of labor under capitalism. The novel is deeply grounded in social realism, reflecting the day-to-day survival of those at the margins of society. The novel follows Ben, an ex-soldier and now a laborer working for a road construction company in Nairobi. The story begins with him being hired by Roadworks Construction Limited to break rocks along River Road, a real area in Nairobi known for its bustle, crime, and poverty. Despite being employed, Ben's life is defined by poverty, alcoholism, hunger, and loneliness. He lives in a small shack in Meja, a slum district, and spends much of his earnings on alcohol. Ben becomes friends with Ochola, another worker, and together they navigate the harshness of life, dodging police harassment, braving unsafe working conditions, and reflecting on their lost dreams. Ochola is a more hopeful character but, like Ben, he is slowly worn down by the city's brutality. Ben also has a brief romantic relationship with Vani, a prostitute who shows him fleeting moments of affection and hope. However, their relationship is unsustainable, marred by poverty, mistrust, and despair. Vani eventually leaves, seeking a better life that Ben cannot provide. As the novel progresses, Ben's situation worsens. He watches his fellow workers suffer. Nyogu dies from a construction accident, and Ochola is dismissed. When Ben tries to fight for workers' rights and confronts his employer over unsafe conditions and exploitation, he too is fired. Losing his job spirals Ben into deeper despair. The novel ends with him returning to the same road, now jobless and broken, descending into the very marginality he had fought to escape. Title significance. The title Going Down River Road is both literal and symbolic. River Road is a real location in Nairobi, a hub of informal trade, crime, and economic struggle. Going down suggests a downward spiral into poverty, despair, and spiritual desolation. The road becomes a metaphor for urban decay, post-colonial failure, and the steady erosion of human dignity. The title captures the cyclical and inescapable nature of hardship in the lives of the urban poor. Character analysis. Ben is the protagonist, a disillusioned ex-soldier struggling to survive as a manual laborer. He embodies the failed promises of independence. Once a man with dreams and dignity, now reduced to crushing stones and drowning his sorrows in drink. Ben is intelligent and introspective, but his reflections lead not to action but to cynicism and despair. His downward journey is a critique of the systemic failures that make self-advancement impossible for the working class. Ochola is Ben's closest friend and foil. He is optimistic and sociable, trying to make the best of their miserable conditions. His dismissal from work marks a turning point in Ben's psychological collapse. Ochola represents the fragile hope that still flickers among the downtrodden, hope that is eventually extinguished by systemic injustice. Vani, a prostitute who briefly becomes Ben's lover, adds complexity to the narrative. She is not romanticized, rather, she is practical, weary, and self-protective. Her departure reflects the impossibility of love or stability in a world where survival takes precedence. Through her, Mwangi critiques not just patriarchy, but also the intersection of gender, poverty, and survival. Nyogu Nyogu, another laborer, is killed on the job, a stark symbol of how working-class lives are expendable in the eyes of employers and the state. His death, like that of others, is met with indifference, highlighting the brutality and anonymity of urban labor. Themes. 1. Post-independence disillusionment. Mwangi's novel is a stark rebuttal of post-colonial idealism. While political independence was expected to bring social and economic justice, it has instead led to entrenchment of inequality. For characters like Ben, independence has changed nothing, they remain exploited, invisible, and voiceless. 2. Urban poverty and social marginalization. The novel powerfully depicts Nairobi as a city of survival rather than success. Slums, brothels, dingy bars, and overcrowded homes dominate the landscape. The characters have no access to upward mobility. Poverty is not just material, it is spiritual and psychological, eroding hope, dignity, and identity. 3. Exploitation and labor. Construction work is depicted as backbreaking, low-paying, and unsafe, with workers treated as disposable tools. The employers exploit their labor while offering no protection or recognition. The absence of unions, labor rights, or social welfare policies reflects the capitalist greed and governmental neglect afflicting post-colonial African societies. 4. Alcoholism and escapism. Alcohol serves as both a symbol and a refuge. For Ben and his peers, drinking is the only escape from their hopeless reality. Yet it also contributes to their deterioration. The bars of River Road are where dreams die, friendships fade, and despair becomes normalized. 5. Alienation and loss of identity. Urban life in the novel is deeply alienating. The characters are cut off from their families, traditions, and rural roots. There is no communal support, only individual struggle. The city strips them of identity, reducing them to laborers, drinkers, or criminals. Mwangi portrays the city as a mechanism of dehumanization. 6. Gender and survival. Through characters like Vani, the novel explores how women too are trapped in cycles of poverty. Prostitution is not presented as moral failure but as economic necessity. The novel critiques the gendered nature of survival, where women must navigate violence, male dependency, and societal judgment. Narrative style and structure. Mwangi writes in plain, direct prose, mirroring the bleakness of the subject matter. His narrative style is unembellished and journalistic, often using short sentences and stark imagery. The lack of sentimentality gives the novel emotional honesty, making the suffering of the characters more palpable. The novel is structured in a chronological, episodic manner, following Ben through daily encounters, memories, and gradual psychological decline. The repetition of routines, work, drinking, searching for food, emphasizes the monotony and futility of the character's existence. Mwangi frequently shifts between internal monologue and external action, allowing readers to witness both Ben's mental torment and the harsh reality of his surroundings. Symbolism and imagery. River Road symbolizes decay, poverty, and the inevitable decline of the working poor. It is the road on which characters live, work, and fall apart. Alcohol, bars represent temporary escape and social collapse. Drinking offers numbness but accelerates destruction. Construction site, a metaphor for labor exploitation and the myth of development. While the city grows, the builders themselves deteriorate. Vani's departure symbolizes the death of intimacy and emotional hope. In a world of survival, even love becomes impossible. Critical reception and legacy. Going Down River Road is widely recognized as one of the most important East African novels of the 20th century. It marked a departure from nationalist literature, embracing a post-independence realism that foregrounds the voices of the marginalized. Critics have praised Mwangi's social engagement, urban focus, and rejection of romanticism. The novel has also been lauded for its proto-Marxist critique of class exploitation and for its empathetic portrayal of the urban underclass. Its raw portrayal of poverty challenged both colonial and post-colonial narratives of progress. However, some critics have noted the novel's bleak determinism, questioning whether it leaves room for resistance or hope. Others argue that Mwangi's portrayal of women, while critical of patriarchy, is sometimes limited to roles of prostitutes or victims. Conclusion: Meja Mwangi's Going Down River Road is a devastating and unflinching account of urban poverty in post-independence Kenya. Through the tragic journey of Ben, Mwangi dismantles the illusions of nationalist triumph and exposes the grinding reality of economic oppression. The novel forces readers to confront the cost of neglecting the working poor, the failure of state structures, and the dehumanizing effects of poverty. Ultimately, the novel serves as a social conscience, a reminder that beneath the rhetoric of development lies a road paved with suffering. Ben's journey down River Road is not just his own. It is emblematic of a generation betrayed by promises and broken by the system, a generation still struggling to find its place in a post-colonial world.